On this episode, we get all weepy over the games of yesterday.
On this episode, we talk about the last episode. You know, it was an episode we did about a year ago. It was the best. Save Every Universe was really at their best.
We were better last year than we are today.
If you would have listened back then, it was the best. They really did.
That's really true.
Save
the
Every
more
Universe.
episodes we make, the better we'll be before. That's the point you were making, right?
Nope.
Welcome to Save Every Universe. My name is Alt Garcia. I am the new sheriff in Washington, D.C. Pew, pew, pew.
You didn't skip a beat.
No.
It's not even out yet.
But I like it.
Dude, there are so many games in the past, and you keep wanting to draw characters from games that aren't even out yet.
I'm playing it now, so technically it's out.
This isn't live. This
Beta!
is a beta.
Yeah, it's live. It's live on the servers. The beta is live on the servers. So
My name is Robbie, and I'm
egg on your face.
I'm not. No, that's not who I am this week.
I'm
not egg on your face, Robbie.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No. I'm Robbie.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna like this one. Well,
I
you might hate it.
read it, and I think I know what it is.
You should know what it is. It's obvious.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
If you don't know what it
read
is.
it. Shut up and read it.
Just shut up and let me do my job here. Sorry.
Just
All right.
shut up for a second.
I'm Robbie.
go ahead.
I'm a god killer, a king slayer, a mind disruptor, and a high priest destroyer. I'm a skillful marksman and a master of the light.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you aren't too picky about what the word means, I am legend.
Your destiny.
I am destiny.
You are the traveler's only begotten son. Cade 6.
Cade 6.
Is that right?
That's better story than Bungie has put in all of Destiny.
That would actually be pretty cool, huh?
If Cade 6 was his begotten son, no,
why he's
that'd
a
be
robot.
stupid as hell.
You set me up, dude. You were like, that's a good idea. Yeah, right? That's a fucking dumb idea.
Get up there. No,
Knock
you
you
fucking
down.
idiot.
Cut the legs out from underneath. Who were you last week?
I was Super Mario.
What?
Yeah. Cape. Yeah, so, I forgot about this. I was playing... Alright, so...
Oh, hang up my cape for a something you said, or
I'll
something.
don a cape.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Okay. D-O-N a cape.
D-O-N a cape.
Yeah, I'm a
I didn't
D-O-N
say-
a cape.
Not like that,
You were
dude.
like, I'm
The
a
way you-
D-O in that cape.
No, so I forgot because I hadn't played in a really long time. But I was playing Super Mario World on the SNES Classic with my son.
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot that. So you fight you got to save Peach, right? Like
Right.
you always do.
Right.
But you fight Bowser's kids along the way. They have
I
captured
forgot about
Yoshi's
that.
friends.
Oh, really?
And I had forgotten. Each castle you beat, you get another egg. And they're
That's
Yoshi's
right.
buddies,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and then you
yeah.
come out and then you blow it up with the TNT
Yeah.
thing. I was like, I totally... That makes more sense why Mario's like dicking around doing all this other shit on his way there, right?
Yeah.
Because you'd be like,
He's
wow,
rescuing...
you really don't care about the old lady, do you? You're like, just
I
going.
gotta zigzag through
Yeah.
some worlds. I'll be there in a
But
second.
it turns out you're helping Yoshi.
Yeah, yeah.
And Yoshi was captured, and the first time you get Yoshi, he's like, thanks, these assholes captured me. Let's go
And
get
then
him.
Yoshi returns the favor in Yoshi's Island when he returns Baby Mario through the series
Is
of
that
islands.
returning the favor, or was it like he did it in the
Prequel.
past? Is Mario returning the favor?
Well, because it is Baby Mario, right? It has to
And
have been
Luigi.
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta go save baby Luigi.
And that's how they became bonded, and now Mario is obligated in Mario World to
He has a
help
life
the
debt,
Yoshi.
dude. Mario, everyone thinks Yoshi is Mario's
Dude,
companion.
this just got way more complex. We just cracked the code. on
Mario's
Mario.
actually Chewbacca, and Yoshi is the Han Solo.
Sure. Like,
It's-
literally? Is this a Star Wars
This
crossover?
is literal. This is a fan fiction I'm working on. Dude, how
I will
many
tell
other
you that-
podcasts talk
that
about
if
Star
Disney
Wars
went-
fan fiction as often as we do?
If Disney went in that direction and they did a Mario Star Wars crossover, it would be better than what they're doing with the Star Wars franchise right now.
I can't do this right now. I don't even want to go down this road.
And last week, I was Shin Malphur from the Lore of Destiny.
That's not even a game.
It's not even a game.
From a book.
I was a... It's in the game. It's in the lore.
I'll be Andrew Jackson from a history book. Next week, that's what I'm going to be. It's not a video game
Shin
character.
Malphur gets mentioned, doesn't he?
I think...
Not in Destiny 1, but in Destiny 2. They've been talking about him quite a bit. There's something of brewing there.
People
with
use
old
$20
Shinny.
bills in
old
video
Shinny
games,
boy.
so I can be Andrew Jackson as a character.
Have they? Not in Destiny, though. So it
That's
doesn't
not our-
count. There is only one game, Robbie.
They have been talking about him. You think he'll be the new Vanguard?
I don't know. I think, what's his name is going to be, right?
It better not be.
Because no, so when you're opening the stashes, when you get Cade's gun back, sorry, the people who don't play Destiny,
There's a little bit of...
but there's a little bit of a lore piece there where he says the person who kills me just inherited my role as the Vanguard. There's like if you're the one that killed me, you inherit all my stuff, including the duties of my Vanguard thing.
But Shin is the only one he actually says would be a good fit.
Right, but what's his name? The guy who kills Cade, right? At the beginning of Forsaken, then you spend the whole thing, and then you kill him, and then, spoiler alert, he comes back to life. Technically, according to Cade's own rules and will and testament, should be...
No, I should be.
The Vanguard
Me.
guy. No, it doesn't transfer.
Fuck that guy. He shouldn't... No.
He kills Cade,
I'm playing
we kill
Anthem.
him. It's not
I'm
like it
playing
transfers
Division 2.
down the line.
I'm not doing this shit.
Well, I guess it should.
It should. I killed him, didn't I?
Yeah.
So Guys,
so if he technically inherited the Vanguard thing, then you...
My Titan is going to be the new true Vanguard.
That's actually a fair point.
That's the
But
fact that
if
that's
he comes
a fair
back to
point
life,
shows...
doesn't it like retransfer back?
Okay, let's
Because
do
it's
a
like
legal analysis
surprise
of
do-over.
this, dude. I'm not doing this.
Okay.
We're going to do wills and trusts analysis law. We have already put more thought into this than they did. Do you understand me?
Dude, they're working on their lore over there at Bungie.
No.
They got it together.
No, my name is Bife is working on their lore.
Harder than they are.
And then they're just being like, oh, that's a good fucking idea.
That's what Bungie? Oh.
Yeah, Bungie goes and watches his YouTube channel.
Yeah, they're like, fuck, we didn't even think about that.
Oh, shit, that's deep.
So
that's
we
all
can
they do.
plausibly conclude
And that's why they don't...
Shin Malphur is like, oh yeah, fuck, that is who that is.
All right, sorry we went on a tangent. There's a guy on YouTube, my name is Bife. He does really great lore videos on Bungie's video games.
Yeah.
He does a better job than they do.
Yeah.
And everyone says...
He like does really cool deep dive stuff. But yeah, like 50% of the people on there are like, you should work for Bungie because you know more about this shit than they do.
Yeah.
Like half of his YouTube comments
true.
are that.
It is true. Have you watched it? I mean, you've watched
really
his
good,
stuff. He's really
yeah.
good. He did a couple for BioWare too in the...
And I think he's already been doing some of that for Anthem. He's gonna do like a lore segment for Anthem.
I saw his first one for Anthem, and he like really has
the
is a
Legion,
BioWare
who
guy.
is the Legion of Dawn and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I finally started watching. I never watched his Destiny ones, and
Oh,
I mean I've seen him, but
yeah.
I always knew. I was
he
like,
just did
he has put in more.
long one on the Thorn and the Last Word, which are two hand cannon guns in
But
Destiny
again,
that
like-
have like the richest lore behind them. The character that I was last week like ties into all that stuff.
Yeah.
He did like a half-hour thing on like the whole story of all of that.
It is a cool
It
story.
is a cool story.
It's on the game.
It's kind of in the game.
It's not really in the game.
It's a little bit in the game. Moving on. What are we talking about today, Robbie?
All right, so we're gonna talk about. Okay.
Today we're talking about nostalgia in
talking about
video
nostalgia
games.
in
You were
video
like
games.
taking too long to get there.
Look, I hate conversations about. I actually like reminiscing. I don't mind like talking about like fun experiences.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets to the point where you're like, it peaked at or the golden days, I'm out. Like I hate those conversations.
Yeah, I was wondering how much of this conversation would actually go to like the retro versus modern conversation. And I didn't my mind didn't go there immediately. I have a couple other talking points here, but I think it could go there.
I think it has to go there at the end at least.
Foreshadowing.
I think inevitably if you're really going to think about this, it has to go there.
Yeah, that's
we don't have to start there.
Okay.
So you
go.
In college.
Shut the fuck up. You go.
You shut the
You go.
No, you go. All right, I'll go.
Okay.
No, you go?
We're going to have to cut all this out.
So in college, we started smoking cigars and going to coffee shops and being cool college kids, and everybody does their own thing and whatever. That was my pompous thing I did.
Yeah, we drink coffee and tea and smoke like tobacco, really tobacco.
Good
pipes,
tobacco.
like
We
out
still
on a
do that.
patio and stuff.
Yeah, and
we were douches.
We still are.
Yeah,
but this is where it started.
Yeah,
and there was other people that like there became a group of people who liked cigars and pipes, and we'd all go together. Mm-hmm. There were certain mixtures of those people that would get glory dazy.
Yes.
And they would start talking about their peak on the track team in high school.
Yeah.
And I would immediately be like, why the fuck did I come here? Like, I hated that. I loved the deep conversations, and we could argue about stuff, and that was all fine.
Yeah.
And they were silly. One of our longest arguments was whether or not Darth Vader could beat Dumbledore.
Oh, yeah.
In a fight.
In a
that
fight.
was long going
and it kept coming back for like 2 semesters of college.
The Harry Potter series hadn't ended yet either.
Right.
So there was all kinds of stuff. It was fun.
Yeah.
But as soon as they started talking about their glory days on the high school track team, I think for me that still summarizes when people start talking about their glory days of anything.
Yeah.
That's what comes to my mind. It's just this like self-serving, you weren't that fucking fast. Shut up, dude. I look at your fat ass. There's no way you could run as quick as you're saying. You were the best in the state. That's because we live in New Mexico and there's no one
Zero
here.
competition.
Like, that doesn't mean anything. There was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I
think that is one of the pitfalls, right? Is like living too much in that everything was better yesterday than it is today.
Yes.
Though it's one of the pitfalls of, and I think like its cousin is, and especially today, we've talked about this in the past with the gaming media being like what it is today with YouTube and bloggers and all kinds of stuff. I think its sneaky little cousin is the shitting on modern games constantly, right? Just because it's almost like our job to criticize the shit out of everything that as it comes out. True. And then so you do that and you shit on everything as you're playing it today, and then you remember fondly all the shit that you probably did the same thing with yesterday, but because you're not playing it now, you can remember it fondly. Right. It's like this rock and a hard place kind of thing.
And when it's in your memory, it's hollowed.
Yeah.
And you can't go back and go, well, was it really that bad? Because for you, it was always that good.
Right.
And there's nothing anybody else can say.
Yeah.
Because they weren't there. Well, you weren't there. You don't know.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating. But that being said, there are games that I think have aged well or are as good as I remember them.
Yeah.
And then there are other games that I've gone back and tried to play recently, and I go, how the fuck did I ever get through this?
So and I put them into 3 categories. Maybe there's 4, but the ones that I was looking at was the games that you remember fondly, and then you go back and play them. You're like, whoa, what a piece of shit! The standards have changed, or maybe you just didn't have anything else to play, and so you just appreciated what you had.
I have a lot of things.
Or you played it with a friend, and just anything's better with a friend, even if it's not a good game.
We've said it before, but our Half-Life.
Yeah, Half-Life on PlayStation 1 was not a good game, but we had a ton of fun with it, right?
Yeah, we did.
The second category I had was games that you remember fondly that you go back and they actually hold up, and you're like, holy moly, this was just such a well-made game that even though technology has moved forward, you can still go back and appreciate, and it's fun to play it through again, start to finish. And then the third category that I had is games that you remember fondly and you go back and they're not fun to play through start to finish, but you can still see the importance of them, and you still appreciate them and respect them for sort of the evolution of its place in gaming, right? I would put Aggro
Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah. I found that game to be very frustrating playing it now today.
Because you played the remaster.
Yeah.
Had you played the original?
I played it a touch, or I saw you play it or something.
I played it a lot.
So I was familiar with it from back in the day, but I didn't actually play it all the way through until today. And even the remaster, I found to be the controls and stuff, I found to be quite frustrating. Mm-hmm. But in terms of game design and the concept of the game and what it did with the giant boss battles and stuff, you could see the subtractive design and it boiling it down to something essential. So many other games after that, you could see the influence that game had on gaming going forward. So it's hard to, even though I found it frustrating to play through some of the parts, I still appreciate the shit out of it and would qualify it as a good game and that kind of thing. So those are kind of the 3 categories that I had when you look back.
Those are good categories.
Yeah.
What's interesting too about those categories is sometimes there's a game where, Shadow of the Colossus is actually a really good example, where sometimes your nostalgia helps you overcome. Yes. Even today, if you fired it up, you're just so in love with the game.
Yeah.
Or maybe you never completely stopped playing it. Maybe you fired up and played every 2 years.
Right.
So you've never hit that wall.
Yeah.
But your friend...
You stay so familiar with it. That
right.
Yeah.
I was... So I've been trying to play through Kingdom Hearts again. Because the 3rd one has come out. Mm-hmm. I couldn't play Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
2 is okay. I might be able to get through it. But 1, I'm just this sucks. It's slow.
Right.
It's cumbersome. It's frustrating. And, but there's people who I've met in this remote, desolate state of New Mexico where there's no one here that have it they're tattooed and they're it's the best game ever. Yeah. And they have keyblades in real life. And, and that's fine. But I've been thinking about this. I'm how did these people...
Yeah.
They're I beat it every year.
Yeah.
And I think they never hit that wall because it's fresh, right? It's always the same. They haven't developed this... There's no disconnect between the present and the past because they've kept it alive, right?
Yeah.
but I can't go back and play Kingdom Hearts 1.
Right, because it's been too long for
I played it when I was like a junior in high school. Like it's been 12, 13 years since I played Kingdom Hearts 1 or something.
As you're saying that, I even think of like the Last of Us, which is like one of my favorite games of all time, and I played it through start to finish many times. But the last time I tried to fire it up, which wasn't too long ago,
You beat it on the PS4 twice.
Yes, so the remaster, just the remaster, and I played it on PS3 just like into oblivion. But so I love that game. I played it over and over. I still play sections of it here and there, but that's one where, like, even mechanically, that one, I love that game, and I have a hard time. I see the importance of what it did for, like, narrative story games and characters, and all that stuff is still really good. But mechanically, it's like, okay, this is the part where all the enemies are in these exact same places, and you throw this Molotov here, and it's just like, the mechanics under the hood are really starting to show their age, and I could still see it being a good game if you've never played it, and you're going through it for the first time, standalone, experience the story kind of deal. But even that is, like, hard to go back to a little bit now.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, like, I played through Final Fantasy VII a few years ago, and it took me probably 3 or 4 hours to overcome the graphics.
The little blocks.
Yeah.
running. Yeah.
Like, when I first fired it up, I was like, I don't think I can do this. Even though I love Final Fantasy VII and I played it so many times.
And the world, looking back, it felt so immersive. But, like, even now, it's a little block thing running along, like, a stagnant 2D thing. It's, like, really weird looking now. It is weird looking. But back in the day, it was, like, this incredibly rich world.
And I've never stopped, like, I watched Advent Children. I still watch Advent Children randomly. I fire it up. Yeah. Any, like, crossover thing with Cloud, I, like, always do it. I've got the amiibos. I played in... So I felt like I was familiar, but I hadn't actually played Final Fantasy VII in a long time. But after the few hours, it didn't matter.
Right.
It's like all the good parts came back
because
it wasn't bothering me anymore.
With story-rich games like that, though, the characters don't age. The characters, right? I think is part of that nostalgia deal.
Yeah.
Like, the story and the character never gets old.
The soundtrack is still great.
Even though the technology that it's encased in becomes dated.
The system itself is still good.
Right.
Like the structures and it's a classic RPG. You're leveling up. The materia thing is still pretty decent.
I liked that system actually quite a bit.
So, like, and the characters were still decent. Like, all of it was good. The world is still really cool, to me at least. Yeah. So I was able to get over that. I don't know if my nostalgia, like what I was saying before, that might be an example of where it pushed me through. Yeah. But, like, a counterpoint to that is I bought the remaster. Well, it wasn't a remaster. It was a port of Pokemon Yellow. And I bought it and I beat it. I played it all the way through. Yeah. And it was a chore.
Right. Like you do that though. Like you'll, for the sake of nostalgia or for the sake of like preserving the chain of like playing from game to game or whatever, you will force yourself through stuff that is arguably or objectively not good.
I'm very determined. Yeah. But some of it too was I was playing it because when they put this port forward, any of the Pokemon you caught, you could transfer to your modern game. Okay. Gotcha. So that was my biggest incentive. Gotcha. I was trying to get like Mewtwo and all the like super legendary rare Pokemon
so that
I could carry it over to
that's a good reason.
Yeah,
I guess.
But it was sheer determination that got me through it. There was good parts. Yeah. Like the music is still classic and it's still a basic RPG, so the systems weren't bad. Yeah. But there was just frustrating mechanics. Yeah. Saving is harder than it used to be, or maybe that's when we can save, but healing is rough. Like your shit dies and it's like it's just kind of a frustrating RPG. I beat it. I got through it again. Yeah. But it was willpower. Yeah. And I'm not going to ever do it again. Yeah. I'm not going to go back.
I like that point though about the people remember these things really fondly of like them being these like really fun games of the past. But you just said, like some of the shit that was in old games made games really, really, really hard.
It was a chore.
And when you go back and try to play them now, they are not necessarily fun. They are actually very, very difficult. And,
especially games I think like that are grindy or like intentionally frustrating or but games that, especially Nintendo games, when I was going through my list here, there's some Square games like Final Fantasy Tactics, but games like Zelda games, Mario games, those age really well.
Yeah, so that was actually one of the things that brought my mind to this whole conversation was, first of all, like with things being hard, even the difference between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 is one of the things that brought my mind to this. First of all, was Destiny 1 has been gone long enough that I'm starting to see comments like in Instagram feeds and stuff where they're like, D1 was so good and like blah blah, and I was like, no, it wasn't. Do you remember how broken that shit was and how like barren the end game was, and there had all of these problems, but now it's been gone long enough that people are like starting to, out of nostalgia, remember it really fondly, even though it was really hard and there was a lot to you had to overcome a ton of broken shit or a ton of difficult stuff to push in and enjoy the game, because it wasn't as good as people are now saying it was. And Destiny 2 overall is a much better game where it's at now versus Destiny 1.
Here's a okay. I don't think so. Destiny 1, I think why it's frustrating, and I think why it's causing people to feel this way, is there were really cool systems and things in Destiny 1 that people liked, that they took out, that are no longer in Destiny 2. So you think of the things that you liked so much, and you forget about the shit that you hated that is fixed.
True.
And you it's easy to fixate on how cool were the shaders and the ornaments and like there was a lot of cool stuff in Destiny 1.
I'm not saying it was like a bad game, because we played it pretty much. Yeah, I left for two little pieces of the game, but you played it hardcore all the way through, and I played a good portion of it, more than the average player. But and there were good things about it, but some of the stuff is like, remember power ammo things you had to use in your inventory, and there was a 5-minute cooldown? God, D1 was great. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why is that the thing you would want to miss?
So that's a good example of that system kind of sucked in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
But then they just took it out completely and didn't give you an alternative in Destiny 2. So now
if you
in a raid
up on ammo, you're screwed.
Now when you're in a raid, you have to kill yourself 3 times. Like, you'll be like, well, let's just get in there and kill ourselves until we get enough heavy.
Yeah, to actually
that's a shitty system too, right? So
but all that to say, though, that it always has problems, right? And it's like back to what we were saying at the beginning. Either like you over-remember the thing fondly, and you over-bitch about the thing in the present, and then you end up kind of not really fully enjoying the game in the moment at the time.
And I think that's easy to do with these games like Destiny that are like legacy games, right? Like, I played Wrath of the Lich King in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I've played most of the expansions. I actually haven't played the new one. This is my first one I haven't played. I don't think I'm going to either.
Really?
I'm finally over
strong.
it. There's no finish. It doesn't end.
You don't think this will be their last one?
No. So I played Wrath of the Lich King, which I do in my head. I have to be careful because I marry my good experiences, which we had so much fun.
Yeah.
But quality of life stuff is so much better in World of Warcraft now.
Yeah.
But I still think of Wrath of the Lich King as like, that's when it was at its best.
Yeah.
But it wasn't at its best. That's when I played it the most.
Yeah.
And I had friends I played it with.
Yeah.
That's what made it cool.
And I think that's... counterintuitively, I think that is part of what makes you remember a game fondly is the struggle that you had, right? Like, retro games were really hard, and when you got that satisfaction of beating this game that you were sitting there trying to get that one platforming part right over and over, or you timed your use of power ammo perfectly in the raid in Destiny 1 while like just dumb shit, right? Like part of the thing
but you accomplished
that makes
something.
you remember it fondly is the struggle, and I think we forget that as we're playing games presently. It's just all aggravation and frustration, and then we're like, oh god, remember when I overcame? And it's like, no, you fuckhead. True. Like, that's one thing as I'm getting older and sappier I've been trying to do actually lately is actually appreciate the game in the moment that I'm playing, instead of just bitching about it and then remembering it fondly. That's a horrible way to game, I think.
It is, because
you
you're
never
always
are in the moment of enjoying the game.
Yeah, you're never appreciating what's in front of you. That's true. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
So, but you brought up Zelda a little bit earlier, and that was so Destiny. I was thinking about the whole Destiny nostalgia, and then I was thinking about Link to the Past, and this is one of the games that we've talked about a lot on the show, and it's like, it was a very formative game of my youth, and I remember it so fondly, and I played it for hours on end, and I was like, okay, it's probably not as good as I remember it. And then for Christmas, I got a SNES Classic, and I fired it up, and I just got sucked in, and I was sitting there playing it the first night for 4 hours playing Link to the Past. That game is as good or better than I remember it. The world is so rich, and there's so many little nooks and crannies, and they didn't call them that at the time, but little side questy kind of things, and all these little side people that you could meet, and these items that were optional that you could go get that made the thing easier, but it was you didn't quite have to have it to beat the thing. It was what a damn well-crafted, rich world
Yes.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah, it really is. Link to the Past got me into RPGs.
Yeah.
It's still one of my favorite Zeldas of all time. Like it's
and
so
it's
good.
still one of the best. Like open world wasn't a thing back then, but that's what it is. You have this giant map, and that you are free to kind of explore and dick around, and then there's like a what do they call it now? A critical mission path or whatever. That's like do these dungeons in this order, but you could get sidetracked doing a bunch of other stuff and exploring. And it's a very good game.
But it's better. It's a better system, and the world is tighter than I think than like the original Zelda on NES.
Yes,
because NES it's kind of confusing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like just enough of like where you should go next or hints or you don't like. I feel like in the NES Zelda, maybe it was an age thing, but I've gone back and played it, and I still feel this way.
Yeah,
it's like it's dangerous out there. Here's your sword. It's dangerous to go alone, right?
Yeah,
Some old man in a cave gives you a sword, and that's it.
Yeah,
they just turn you loose, and you're like, where do I go now? Like, and it's almost too open.
Right.
Whereas Link to the Past has a thing you're doing.
Beautiful sweet spot though of
your uncle's gone. Go find him. You find your uncle.
Yeah.
Save the princess.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, you find the priest. Go get these 3 amulets. Get there when you get there.
Yeah.
They're out in the world. Go find them. You kind of have a loose idea of what you should be doing, and then you just have fun while you're doing it, right?
Yeah,
and that's where the side quest stuff comes in.
Yeah.
But they still have enough of a like. I think the point of Zelda 1 is go kill Ganon.
Yeah.
And you're not going to kill him right off the bat. And like you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. I don't know. I think that's a big difference.
I actually have never gotten through the original NES ones because of that. It's like,
where do you go?
Yeah.
You don't know. Like you have to
and
look
I'm not
it
gonna
up.
like look up guides and all that. I'm not gonna do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not either.
But I think you just hit, to me, I think like what causes those nostalgia things is the challenge. It is the challenge. And I think as gamers today, we should quit bitching so much and we should like embrace the challenge, right? Because
gamers today don't appreciate a good challenge.
It's true.
Back in our day, we had to work for it.
Dude, in Resident Evil, they got rid of the fucking ink ribbons, dude. You can't tell me that games have got.
Actually, I'm really glad you brought that up. So
easier.
I think that's why it's hard to go back sometimes because we've gotten so used to these quality of life things.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Resident Evil 2 because I wanted to ask this question: how many dads beat Resident Evil 2 back in the day?
How many dads?
Fathers.
Yeah.
You're a wife and kids, and you can only save if you have a fucking ink ribbon.
Yeah.
How many?
No, because you would like need to save, and you end up wandering around for another hour dodging zombies and shit.
So tell me when your kid came in and puked all over you, what did you do?
Yeah, and there was no pause. There was no inter-rest mode.
Were there I mean, I know like they have these old weird tricks where like you found a corner and you just left it on.
Yeah.
Because what other choice did you have?
Yeah.
And you hope to God somebody didn't turn it off or power didn't go out. Or, like, that's bullshit, okay? Yeah. And that would never fly now.
Yeah.
So, of course, they got rid of the ink ribbons, because it's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're defending...
No, I'm just saying to some degree what causes that nostalgia, like, in present day when you're looking back. Some of it is the challenge. Like, I overcame this bullshit that was in this game. That is part of it.
That's true, but...
I was about to end on a high note. If you would just shut that... But where you were going with Zelda, like with the kind of like they hit that sweet spot of like, here's what you do, but then they didn't overhold your hand, and there was sort of a joy of exploration side to it as well. And I think that's the other thing is like you have these beautiful like aha like moments of where like two things connect in your brain. And you're like, I get it. Like the first moment where you have to remember you go to the second pendant dungeon in Link to the Past, and it's like it's all in like some weird hieroglyphs, and then you have to like go find the book to get it to translate it to open the thing. They don't really over explain that. You have to like sort of explore and wander and go find that book. But once you get in the dungeon, it feels like so satisfying. And then I think I think though when you come back to those games after you've done it once, a lot of the time you're looking for that aha like moment of inspiration of I've never seen this in a game and that felt really good.
That's true.
And I think you can't get that again. And this is my beef with hardcore retro gamers. You can't get that feeling again by going backward. You have to play the next new games.
That's true.
And you have to play through some shit that's like knockoffs of previous stuff that's completely uninspired before you play a game that makes you go, wow, that was unbelievable. And it makes you feel the way those games of yesterday did.
I think that's true. I think it's okay that some of these past games are frustrating and doesn't cheapen the memory.
Yeah.
Because, you know, games like Resident Evil 2, like that's how it was done.
Yeah.
And that's good. And leave it in the past and let that be a good memory.
Yeah.
But don't don't shit on the new games just because they made your life better.
Right.
Right? Cause,
right, exactly.
Like, let's appreciate what it is now. Let's appreciate the quality of life stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. I think you need to find, like, what's positive about these new games and experience these new memories and these new successes.
We should have titled this episode Game Appreciation 101.
Yeah. But we didn't. Why did you clap? We didn't even do our...
Thank you. Because we're running out of time, and I could tell you we're going to keep going.
I wasn't going to keep going. I was
done.
Are you done? That was it.
Are you done?
And now we have this awkward thing that Tony's got to cut out.
Oh,
so just shut the fuck up and end the episode.
Thank you for listening to Save Every Universe. If you enjoyed this episode, please share us with a friend. We grow through you sharing us with your friends and family and just putting us in the ears and the homes.
Whoa.
Is that creepy?
Yeah.
If you'd like to support us financially, you may do so at patreon.com/SaveEveryUniverse. And to all of those who already do support us, we appreciate you very much. Thank you, and we love you.
We do love you. We gave away some beta keys to
the Division 2 beta.
Division 2. I think one of our champions used it, and I think all the other guys had pre-ordered, so it was fine. But yeah, we have a Discord channel for all of our champions, and we'll share stuff with you. I have lots of ideas. We talked with Tony about doing a gag reel.
He's our video editor.
And our guest next week.
Very best Save Every Universe friend. Yeah.
Yeah, our best Save Every Universe friend. If you want to support us and edit our episodes and all that, you can be promoted to our best Save Every Universe friend.
We're going to begin a ranking system.
We'll work on that. It's coming.